Good evening, dear citizens of the municipality of Kehlen and people from Nospelt, where we will do in a citizen participation project talk about how to redesign the center of Nospelt. In the center of this is the old farm of Schockweiler, one of the most beautiful buildings in Nospelt. We've thought about this a lot in the last months. We've had numerous ideas, from let's use the farm as a museum, maybe we could have another museum. Somebody wanted to put a museum of Napoleon in there, so there's many ideas. And then once we were sitting together and we thought, well, why don't we speak to people and see what other ideas could come from the community that we could talk about. So, as I say, it's one of the most beautiful buildings of Nospelt. Nospelt is an old village with a lot of still typical village architecture. And we like to keep it that way and to really put it in a spotlight. So together with all of you who are here tonight in the Centre Culturel in Nospelt, in this corona-friendly distributed space. And because we had a lot of people who wanted to participate, we decided to have 2 sessions of this workshop. And then, of course, you can follow us via the live stream as well. For us, it's obvious to ask the people from here to participate in deciding what their village should look like. With this participation, we're going new ways in citizen participation. We have a healthy culture of commissions in our village where people participate. We're a very lively municipality with a lot of activities and a lot of exchange between the citizens. But this is going one step further. We're hoping that this won't be a one-off as well. But if I see how many people were interested and signed up for this session, then we realize that we're going the right way with this kind of citizen participation. It's a big affair. It's not just about the Schockweiler farm. It's 70 hours, so it's a terrain that goes all the way until the Centre Culturel. And we want it done in a way that it's right for the citizens. So we're not finished with this work. That's why we want to listen to you tonight. We're interested to know. And so before I give the word to Mark Bissen of the College of Aldermen, I want to say thank you for your interest. Like I say, there was so much interest that we had so many people sign up before we even sent out the invitations. So thank you for the people involved in the organization. And now I will pass the word to our alderman. Thank you. Thank you for this welcome. I also want to start thanking you all for being here tonight. There was really a very large interest in this, which is why we did another session. And the forms that have been handed out have also been already 60 people filled in the survey. And it's good to see that people are interested in us going these other ways of getting you to participate. I also want to say thank you to our friends of De Rezo who guide us in this process. It's a new process for us, like the mayor has said. We hope that it gets a positive feedback and that we will be able to also sustainably implement the ideas that come out of here with, again, participation. So I'm happy that we have this professional actor who supports us alongside this with the workshops, with the surveys, and also with the analysis of the surveys. So we have a strong partner for this with the réseau. Why did we choose the way of participation? Well, the Schockweiler farm is central in the village, as the mayor has said. We have the Centre Culturel and the Petrus House, and we think this is really a one-off chance to do something special. And it's very important to us that we do something that would be sustainable in time for this farm. I think the only way to do this is through participation, because you're sure that you made people part of the usage of this farm for the people of Nospelt and the associations of the village. As for tonight's agenda, we will have a small introduction to the citizen participation project, the different steps in it. Then there'll be an exchange, because we do want it to be participatory tonight. So the surveys that have been filled in from the beginning will have some information then from the réseau to the forms and the survey. The timing is quite short because we're doing a second session straight after, so that we can start the second one in time. What can I participate with? Well, you can help define what the Schockweiler farm is going to be like. Those of you who've done the survey, you see that the questions are more general, saying things, what is it you need? What are your needs? And that, we wanted to start with that to give a framework for the project. For example, childcare. If we don't need any childcare, well, then we know that that's not something we're going to be doing at the farm. So the survey is to give us a bit of a framework for what the needs are. Every idea that you bring is good. We're taking in all your ideas. Of course, we won't be implementing them all. The project is quite clearly defined. It's about Schockweiler farm and the space around it, as you can see here. We have space, but this building will be under protection from Cité Monument, so that is something that we have to take into account, because this farm has a big value, cultural value. So we can't do everything with this farm, but we know more or less what the possibilities are. There is some room in which something could be constructed, so there are quite a few possibilities. Another thing that we have that has to fit is the budget. The municipality has quite a lot of projects, so we have to stay realistic in the financing of this project. And then, of course, the timing is important. We can't do something very quickly. At the moment, the farm is used for some technical equipment of the municipality. So until 2022, I believe he said, the material will be there. So because a new building is being built for the technical equipment. So for who is this participation? Well, all the citizens of the municipality of Kehlen from 16 years on. The people from Nospelt are important and have been written to. The associations of Nospelt as well, but it's open for everyone. So we've had a lot of people come with ideas. We've noticed that there is really interest and of people to come with concrete ideas. Which are the steps? There's going to be 4 steps. The first is the survey. that I've talked about before. You can fill it out online or on paper. Mr. Diederich will speak more about the form, and the second step will be some workshops. The survey goes until the mid-July, and then it will be analyzed and summarized by the réseau, and then the second part of the workshops will start from September on. And that's when we'll try to be creative, working in small groups. We hope that we can do this in present form, so if COVID lets us have live workshops. And we have a methodology that we will use that will make it into fun ways of getting your ideas. The next step will be the voting. And you'll see we're quite sure that we'll get many interesting ideas, but of course not each project can be implemented. So we'll let you vote once we have those. And the last phase will be the final decision, and that will be the decision of the College of Aldermen. And I think it's going to be difficult. And then another phase, of course, which isn't seen here on the screen, is, of course, the follow-up of all this, the implementation. There's a lot of projects that we do on the municipality, and then once the College of Aldermen has taken a decision, sometimes a lot of time passes before things are implemented, and there's reasons for those, and they're normally visible, and we're very transparent on those. It's not because somebody's not doing their work. There's always reasons why the timelines will be there, but you will be able to see at any moment at what step of the project's implementation is. So I hope that we will have a positive way of doing this and a more sustainable way to work on this, and I'm really happy that there is so much interest in this. I'm hoping we'll have a nice teamwork on this project. So I will pass to Mr. Diederich.
Thank you again, and I'm very glad that you are here. I'm glad to see you all participating actively. And at the moment, I would like to very briefly offer you the opportunity to give your initial reactions, the first thoughts that come to your mind, and what you think of it, what ideas you have. We will listen to you, and then we will have questions around so that you can ask us questions. You can follow us on television. So while keeping a safe distance, I request you to please ask us the questions, share your ideas in this wonderful initiative so that we are able to launch this program right away. Are you working out? So much for social distancing.
They're probably fully vaccinated.
Hey,
Are you?
vaccinated? Yeah.
Got both?
Just the one. One-stop shop. I think you have had enough opportunity to speak amongst yourselves and share ideas and to participate in the process as such. So now you can come right up and to the microphone and share your ideas that you spoke about with each other. So who has the first question? So if you have any questions, you have to go to the microphone. Good evening, everyone. This half Schockweiler, as I see it, it has to be placed in the right context. And in 1850, the current building as it stands was created, was built, shall we say. It was the pastor's house. And there are going to be a lot of ideas that are going to come up. But when you learn about the house itself, it has a lot of history linked to it. And when one looks at it, one might ask, where does it come from? What is the history? And there was, the building was built on cement, out of cement, and it was pressed cement, and you had to be here in order to see it. And it is something very particular and very special to this place. There was a farmer who used to live over here, of course, because it's a farm, and he is the one who brought all the sand, and that is what made the soil so good. Now, something that is unique to this place as well is the fact that the cellar, which was used over here to keep things fresh and cool, there was also a part of dairy in the farm. And the last point that I would like to present is the fact that there is, I was there today and there's no water, and something has to be done about these amenities, these basic amenities in the farm. Is there any other question? I do have a question. Please go to the microphone. I thought I was loud enough, but I think I'll have to go to the microphone. I heard the presentation by Mr. Dietrich, and I had my first question. The Rezo is actually a cooperative. So it's called the réseau. The cooperative is called the réseau, so the network. So I just want to know what is the current situation of where things stand, so that we have a threshold, an initial threshold, and what the various assets and assets are on the inside, on the outside. What we have to take stock of what is, so that we are able to either improve on it or look at what can be done to improve things, and what will belong there with the passage of time. Is the commune aware of that? And I'm sure other people have thought about this question. And if you speak about the syndicate or the cooperative, well, I'm very glad that there is this sort of an initiative. But I still do not understand the reason of the raison d'être. So the house, the commune is the owner of the house with everything that is in it, and it's going to be valued. There's going to be an insurance, which is going to be contracted, and it is quite difficult to value it just now, because we have to go through everything that is in the house. We have to separate things. We have to stock things with security, and we have to work with a particular company with that, which is a professional company in that field. And then they have to be valued. And then in the second and third stages, we will then probably look at creating a museum, for example. So, but if we are going to think about go along those lines, we have to plan it ahead of hand, and we have to create a dynamic which is going to go in that direction. And the entire street, as far as I'm concerned, and there are a few things which were in the presentation, but in January 2020, we presented a film about the history and the entire cultural center, the street on which the cultural center is, so that it becomes a place, a meeting point for the people in the village, rather than just a transitory place for cars. And that is something that had to be created or integrated with the cultural center. And we had to see what was achievable or attainable for the people. And I have been spoken about, or people have told me, that there are people who are looking, to create a museum about Napoleon. And we did have a house in Nospelt, and when the house was presented, he was very happy, I was told, and so that the school children would go there and learn about the Napoleonian times. And the entire thing would look or be redone in that context, shall we say. But it has also to be subsidized. And even if you're looking at social housing, that also has to be subsidized. But these are also ideas. If you look at business and marketing, there are people who are busy, who work in those fields and know a lot more about those fields and how to do it. For example, how projects can be run and how to make that project an idea, how to turn an idea into a project, into a tangible project. And it's never something that can be, turned black or white, but one has to find consensus and has to mediate and negotiate. So even before we start work, we have to start conceiving the ideas. We have to start conceiving the projects. And so when you speak about the cultural center, it has to be an entire project, an entire thing which will include the street as well and the life on the street. The live stream that did not start immediately, so people who are going to connect are going to find are going to connect now. You have a question? Please go to the microphone. Very briefly. I do welcome this initiative to discuss the project with the people. But what I'm thinking is, as the mayor said, we have to be creative. And one has to, come up with ideas in these workshops. Brainstorm ideas. And you cannot impose your ideas on someone else. It has to be a democratic process. So that is part of the process, as you rightly said, sir. So that as many people as possible can participate and can express themselves and see where the project can go or could go, and see what is realistic and what is viable in terms of project management, what can be created, what can be done in order to make that project a reality or an idea into a project. And once that is the case, then we can, we can foresee the further steps that need to be taken. So these are various stages which are going to come, which are going to be, which are going to organically come, and that is the entire process.
Any more questions? Me too. I really want to say thank you to this initiative to be able to participate. I think that's very good. I think we have to look at it as a whole quartier, as a not just a house. I think José had an idea to have his own museum, but if you want Nospelt like that, then you also have to bring other attractive points. We could have a nice park. If people come to the museums, then they might want to have a walk, and we could have a baker's maybe. I think, of course, we have enough cafes and bistros, so we don't want to bring other things for them, but maybe have a better playground, a little bit bigger than the one that we see here through the window. It would be a central place where children and parents could come together And what happens inside the house should also be something for the citizens. We have the Boniface house and other places, but this is the center of Nospelt. So we could have workshops and all kinds of things, for workshops. We could have things for the people of Nospelt. Maybe we could have a kind of crèche, why not? They're supposed to be close to the people. Why not there? 10,000 ideas. I'm just thinking that if we go from this house straight to the workshops, and so will the commune say, will they pick the ideas that we'll work on in the workshops? Or I'm not sure how you want to do this. It's a whole process. So the survey, once we have the results from the survey, we'll have indications which direction it's going. And the surveys come from you. So the ideas come from the people filling out the surveys. And then the first workshop will be to, from this results of the workshops, come up with a first brainstorm. So what you're saying now, that's what we're going to be doing then. So we'll have one workshop just to gather all the different ideas. So the results from the questionnaire, from the survey, will be analyzed, and then in the workshops, the ideas to these prototypes will be further developed, where it gets more concrete. And then, after that, like we said, we'll speak to experts, architects, etc., on what can be done and what cannot be done. And then once we know that, we will come back to you, the citizens, to say, okay, of all these ideas, these are the ones that are feasible. So in this workshop, you want to have the ideas. There is one workshop to gather the ideas. And then a first selection will be done. And then in further workshops, we will work on those more in detail. Thank you. Okay, so if there isn't another question, of course there will be another question round towards the end, so we're hoping to have time for those. But then we will give the word to Madame Even, who will present the online platform and what you can do with it, and what this survey is, which some people have already participated in. Okay, so I will explain to you a little bit about the online platform, and you will see it on the screen. So this is the online platform. If you go to participation.kehlen.lu, you get there. And so during the whole process, and also afterwards, you will have the possibilities to get all your information at any moment of this project. It will always be up to date on what the next steps are. So this platform was made specifically for citizen participation. It's an open source. Politics France made this platform. So here you can see, if you want to participate, you find the information of the platform. There's a small video that the municipality made. And then if there is meetings like tonight, and there will be the other workshops that we've talked about will be on here. And then you have the survey here, where you can click on where the little arrow is. There's the different phases of the project are explained. which you can look at here. So you need to register to participate, your name, or you can give yourself a nickname if you want to be anonymous. The same here with the @ and then an email, and it'll be your password. And that's all that will be seen if you say that you're anonymous. And then, of course, the GDPR, you'd have to click, and there is a newsletter. What's nice about the newsletter is that you will get information regularly, and you don't always have to go to the platform to get the latest news. But for example, in the autumn when we'll have the workshops and we have the results of the surveys, they will be published in this newsletter, so you will get them automatically. And you can maybe register for the next workshops that are going to take place. The platform is in German, French and English. And you can also use, you'll also be informed through the municipal little newspaper and the social media of the commune of Kehlen as well. So we've talked about this survey, which for the moment is very general. Which are your needs here in the municipality of Kehlen, so that this information can be used to develop projects, sustainable projects that speaks to the needs of the people of the commune. And through these needs, there might be other things that come up which might be useful for other projects. So how to do this? It's online, like we've just seen. You register and then click on the survey and just fill in the survey. But you can also do it on paper. This evening, for example, you can get one here. Or you can go to the Service Relations Publiques at the commune, or writing an email to participation.kehlen.lu. So the 11th of June is the deadline for this survey. If you've done it on paper, you can just either post it or put it in the mailbox of the commune. As for the data that's gathered, we analyze it. We don't look at the questions of one person in relation to that person, but we analyze it together with the other questions, answers by the other people. And you should be able to find the results on the platform once the analysis is done. So the survey has a small part of demographics, so that we know who participated, so that we see if there is a group that is missing. Then we look at the needs, which is specifically for children and youth. Then there is one part specifically about the farm, to see what's important of this farm for you, and then participation, that we get an idea how much you are interested to invest yourself in participating on this project. Can you repeat the email address, please, because it went too fast? The email is participation@kehlen.lu. That's the email address you can write to get the survey sent. You can just pick one up here tonight as well, and the email address is on it. And also to get to this platform, you just type participation.kehlen.lu. That's how you get to the platform. Okay, well, we're getting towards the end of this session, but this is again a time to answer your questions, maybe about the online platform or about the survey or about the whole process. This is a good time to ask us. And we'll have a look as well if we've got questions through WhatsApp. Let's start here. My question is brief. I'd be interested to join in the workshops because I think my ideas are good. So, does it make sense to bring in ideas that we have via email? And how can we do this? And will people be selected for the workshops, or how does it go? No, the workshops, everyone can participate in the workshops. And the best thing is to bring your ideas into the process. This process is also an exchange between people, and an exchange that comes out of the results of the survey. So it would be good if you also gave a chance to the survey. So it'll give us a way to see how many people ask what kind of, or talk about which kind of needs. Just the first step. It's good to challenge your own ideas as well, to put it to the test with other people. Talk about them with people, and then you'll quickly see if your ideas are really as good as you think they are. We had somebody else who wanted to ask a question. I wanted to ask who can participate in this online survey? Somebody who lives in Knapphoscheid could, if somebody can come with a nickname and just register, then people could participate who have nothing to do with our commune. Is that right? And if I think my ideas are good, then I could maybe fill it out 4 times with a different name. And then they somehow become important, even if they're maybe not so good. That's right. We've consciously not put another security there. We wanted this to be really accessible. It's obviously for people of the commune of Kehlen, and specifically, especially for the people of Nospelt. But we wanted to keep it accessible, so we trust the honesty of our citizens. And I think we can really hope and think that people will only do it once. The questionnaires, the survey just gives us an indication, and they indirectly influence the process that comes after through the workshop. So we're not too scared that this will have too much impact. Good evening. I agree with those who spoke before me, saying that it's great that we get to participate. What about the protection des monuments? How will they be involved in this process? Because if the building is going to be protected, then there will be walls that can't be touched, etc. Well, we have told them that we are doing a participatory process, and that we would be wanting answers of them quite quickly when we have projects, that they would answer us quickly and give us a framework, which should happen after this creative process. have a question and a wish. My question is, when it comes to the questionnaire, the survey, it's supposed to be anonymous and you can put a nickname, but you give an email address. I don't think that's 100% okay, because I don't have a problem giving my opinion. But in this questionnaire, if you can speak about the politics of the commune, then it might not be so good. And my wish would be that the whole farm Schockweiler, which that even if it would be good to look at the whole site, not just the building, but the field behind it, which there's a house right next to it. And then it would be good to look at the whole site, the field below it could be put more to value. So that the village center would be looked at as a whole. And then there's something that has nothing to do with this project, but Nospelt is supposed to get 30 kilometers traffic calming with right priorities everywhere. You should really think about this again. And in the context of the shared space that is proposed, that should be well thought through. Thank you. So about the email addresses, it's not possible to just get the email addresses all from the platform, and nobody should be able to see. You have to really go look to link the answers with the email addresses. The email address is important to give it. And of course, not everybody has an email address, gary.diederich@pt.lu. There is other kind of addresses you can have that protect your anonymity. But in the whole process, you can fill out the form on paper as well and send it in. You can come to the workshop without registering in the platform. The platform is a tool, an extra tool, for those who don't want to miss anything, those who want to be kept in touch, and those who want to also fill it in online and get the automatic updates. But it's not an obligation to participate in the process. You have the choice. Some people will be wanting to look at their data or keep it more private than others. The platform is a technical tool, an additional technical tool, additional to this organization of this evening here tonight, for example. And it also helps us that the people who are interested to participate, that we can reach them if we have those email addresses. I'm happy that you talked twice about the field behind it. It's 70 hours, that's quite big. And if you remember, 2 years ago, or more than a year ago, when we spoke about this project for the first time, we said that we could imagine there being a park behind it, or that we could have a nice big playground. Somebody spoke about the waterway in the fields. There is definitely an idea to do something with the field and give it more value. Some kind of a park infrastructure or a playground are absolutely possibilities. The thing with the survey, well, we want to see how much are people interested and how much do they feel part of this process. And I think it's not wrong to take the pulse, even if you get some of the questions might be a little bit outside the project. It's just a way to feel the pulse of how people feel about the commune, how people feel they're integrated in the commune. Now about this 30-kilometer zone, well, we've realized in Kehlen, and I'll just speak about this for 1 minute, if the streets where we've done the 30k limit, it's not very easy. It wasn't easy, and it is really difficult to come out of that street onto the other road to get the priority. So I think we might do some citizen participation about the security on our roads. And Nospelt we have to say, Nospelt is a lot more calm than many other villages in our municipality. So if you speak about shared space, then we should look at this, because this is somewhere where we can make it happen. But Nospelt has kind of two village centers, where the church is, that there is a road. But if here the Centre Culturel is ready and the streets that goes up from there could become calmer. I'm looking at the time. We have 5 minutes. I'm not sure. We wanted to look at the questions of the people that wrote in from at home. And Julie is going to read those. There's one question about the budget. Whether there is a specific budget to be respected. Like I said in the beginning, we do have financial constraints, of course. We have our multi-year financing plan, which I think he said 4 million were planned, and it's not an illimited budget, but there is some. We will define this project together. I'm not sure if there was another question.
Any other questions from the outside? Well, then all that I have to do is thank you for being so actively present, for having participated actively, and for having been so open and direct with us, given us your thoughts and your ideas and your questions, and participated in this process. Once we get into the creative phase, I'm sure you will also take up the medal, the questionnaire and the polls are going to tell us which groups will form and which will support which ideas, and we will then contact you with regard to those projects which stand out. Well, I would like to thank you, and I'll just pass it on to someone else up here. Well, to close, this is a very good test to find out how good your reaction is, and how much interest is there among the people, and what are your initial reactions, instead of And if you are going to raise both your hands to participate, I think we are going to have a very active and very constructive process, and you will be able to participate. I know that you will actively participate in it. If you have any evaluation, you are more than welcome to tell us about it. This was actually just find out where we stand with regard to you all. So are you? Please raise both your hands. If you're fully in, just one hand. If you're partly in, and not at all. If you're not at all in. So how do I raise? Thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for having participated in the game. Thanks for having participated in the initiative. Thank you for filling out the questionnaires, for being in the workshops when they take place. We are going to start with the second session very soon, and I would like you to please leave from the back. From the other end, not from where you came, but the other end of the farm, of the barn. Sorry. So, and we will once you have registered, we will send you all the data and all the information. So, please do. If you leave, please leave on the rear part of the barn. Thank you very much.